Welcome to Shamanism 106. This is the heart of shamanism. And so the initiation begins as we step out of the known and into the unknown, journeying into uncharted territory where reason shivers to go. We map our path with every breath. We, the pioneers, the innovators, the visionaries, the mystics, the pathfinders. Because those who avoid mystery never embody mastery. We come here to remember the path that we forgot so that we can be the light that illuminates in the darkness. May we walk fiercely with God, Goddess. May we embrace sacred evolution where logic dare not tread, where limitation is suspended and magic is remembered. So did you know how big your heart really is? Did you know that when your heart is fully embodied, your magnetic resonance can be measured several feet and in fact even kilometers away? That your torus field, your energetic field, when you are fully enlightened, can be so big that you can have almost a whole town inside yourself. So the goal of yoga has been defined as Sat Chit Ananda, to unknot the mind and to uncrumple consciousness, to attain unconditional truth and tranquil bliss. Now, is this fully only about the mind? No, because it's the human heart that sets us apart. It is the meeting place of the great lovers, the above and the below. And the most important thing here is to remember that it's not work, it's worship. When you become your own teller, your own storyteller, when you tell your own story, when you write your own reality, you become the author. And so you are the authority. You are the master of your heart's mysteries. So the journey we are on is to know thyself, to befriend and to have an authentic connection with who you are, to embrace and align and integrate your being, to become love in action. And when you have your heart fully tuned in, turned on, it's easy for you to find others because they will vibrate with your frequency. You can see your tribe and you will have the courage to approach them authentically as yourself. When you sparkle and shine so brightly, they see you because you become hard to miss. You are luminous. But let's talk a little bit more about the heart. The physical heart has 4 chambers, and I've talked about this before, and I want to show you all these sort of images of the heart so that you can get a little bit of a clearer sense of what this powerful thing is that you have inside your chest. So the heart of the shaman is understood as having 4 parts. And as you remember, in the spiral, I've added a 5th, which is the kind of completion of the container. And true courage comes from creating this healing relationship between you and your fear. The fear is needed to be there. So the first part is the healer. And the healer is initiated through the wounding. It is the wound that lets the light in. And the healer is transformed through death. The healer learns how to love and how to see through pain. The healer understands that death isn't something to be afraid of, but that death is the beginning of something. And that death is also a necessary and needed component for the continuation of life. The second chamber, the second learning, the second embodiment of the heart is the warrior. And the warrior carries the continuation of the healer. The warrior is love in motion. And the warrior is transformed through love. The warrior has the power to see through fear, to see what is terrifying and take action all the same. And the lover, part of the warrior, is the fact that the warrior cannot just go to fight because of, the sake of going to war. The true warrior goes to war because they are protecting someone that they love. And war doesn't necessarily mean the way that we're translating it now as like, war between nations or fighting for the benefit, financial benefit of some companies or some king. True spiritual warriorship is fighting against ignorance, fighting against darkness, fighting against negative influences. And this can also mean, back in the day, to fight against the bear, to defend, to protect. So that's very important. The third chamber, which we are moving into now, is the master E, the teacher. This is becoming the master of something through dedicated, disciplined practice. And we've talked about this, that the very definition of shamanism is a consistent, disciplined practice. And so the master is transformed through mastering something, through learning, through putting applied learning into practice. And so the master sees through stories, these kind of ego stories that keep us small and limited. And the fourth chamber of the shaman's heart is the visionary. This is where we started. The visionary sees through illusions and transforms through integrity. Integrity only has meaning when we go against the grain. If you are going with the flow and just following the herd and doing everything, how can you have integrity? Integrity only means something when you stand firm in the storm. Integrity only means something when you are holding firm. So the visionary is completed through courage, meaning that when you have a vision of something that you want to manifest, and people tell you it's impossible, you have to have the courage to be without doubt and believe in your vision. Courage comes from creating a healing relationship between you and your fear. So what does it mean to be complete then? Well, completeness, I've talked about it, and this is sort of the energy that we're still in now, the archetype of the wise, or the archetype that we've just completed, which was during water, the wise woman. And the wise woman has all four parts in her heart fully embodied and is able to pick and choose or embody the appropriate energy at the time. So courage means that I am complete. It means that I am full of wisdom. Wisdom is conscious love in action. Love in every part, not just in your heart. Light in every cell. There's a conscious evolution taking place inside of your being that extends beyond. That you are fully present without being afraid of the dark, whether the dark is inside of you or outside of yourself. Fully complete means that you make better choices from a place of abundance and self-knowing. When we're complete, we can become caretakers, because this is our home, this is our planet, these are our people. We are not a separate individual unit here for our own benefit. We are here together. And the truth is as well that we leave from the same doors we entered. So when we can live well, we're able to die well. And dying well has all these implications for how we live. Because you can only die well, you can only die letting your last final exhalation, your last breath, giving your prana, your soul energy back by living well. Letting your last final exhalation be a sigh of gratitude rather than a fearful resistance to the cycle. There's a story in the Egyptian mythology, that when you come to death's door, Ma'at, the goddess, has this set of scales, and on the one side of the scales she has a feather, and the feather represents truth and justice and lightness, and the other side of the scale she will put your heart. And if your heart weighs less than the feather, if your heart is as light as a feather, you can move on. If your heart is heavier than the feather, it's time for you to go back and do it again. So when you can have this heart as light as a feather, meaning you don't take yourself or life too seriously, sincerely, yes. Wholehearted participation in the game of life, yes. But seriousness, darkness, heaviness, no. Then, when you are able to let go of your own fear of death and dying, you're able to let go of your fear of not having lived enough or done enough or been enough. You are no longer afraid. And when you don't have fear, you are liberated. When you're not afraid of being insignificant, because you know, for what it's worth, that you mattered when you were here, then you are done. Then you are able to die well. And so we weave, and we weave because she who recognizes the threads of her life can weave them into a pattern. And the sage, the wise woman, gives without relying on her own effort. She completes without waiting to be rewarded. She can illumine without stepping out of the shadow, because nothing is what you expect. And so for you here, this time, remember as you become more and more aligned and enlightened, to keep compassion and discernment for those who are still under the spell of Wetiku, those who are still laboring under the false delusions of darkness. Remember, my friend, there is always more work to be done, more love to be felt, more pain. There is always more to come. Everything has a yin and a yang. Everything is always moving. The spiral is never ending. There is no beginning. There is no end. There is only energy, waves, rhythm, and pattern. Thank you for your attention. May you enjoy the rhythm of your heart. It is your heart that sets you apart, that gives you your part to play in this life game. Thank you.